Hey everybody, how's it going? It's me. I'm Fat Drrl, and you're watching the special Halloween episode of Midwest Trippin'! We got a special treat for you this episode of Midwest Trippin'. We recently went to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and while there, we visited the most haunted hotel in America, the Crescent Hotel and Spa. The Crescent Hotel is located atop a hill in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. We only discovered the awesomeness and rich history of the Crescent Hotel and Spa when we took a tram ride in Eureka Springs.
A wealthy man named Norman Baker came along in 1937 and bought the hotel, turned it into what he called a hospital. It was called Dr. Baker's Cancer Curing Hospital, and he set fires all over through the U.S. Postal Service advertising this hospital. They said something to the effect, "You have cancer, come stay with Dr. Baker in Eureka Springs and he will cure you." People come from all over, desperate for this man's help, believing that he could make them well again. Didn't take long before people started asking questions. They'd see people going into the hospital. They didn't see a whole lot of people coming out of the hospital.
You know, he didn't just rob them of their life savings. He robbed them of their time on Earth. They could have been spending this time with their family. Instead, they spent it with Norman Baker participating in useless medical treatments. It's really sad. Eventually, Norman Baker did get convicted of his crimes. The government brought charges against Norman Baker with 7 counts of mail fraud. Baker was sentenced to 4 years of jail and $4,000 restitution. One of Baker's accomplices said that they pulled in over $500,000 in 1 year defrauding cancer patients. Baker served his sentence at the United States Penitentiary in Leavenworth, Kansas from May 1941 to July 1944. In 1946, Baker made one more attempt to return to healing, healing in air quotes, by establishing a research facility in his hometown of Muscatine, Iowa. The state of Iowa refused permission in the public's interest. Baker retired, like many rich and powerful crooks, in ostentatious comfort in Miami, Florida. On Wikipedia, it said that Norman Baker died in September of 1958 of cirrhosis. Now, the guide on our tram tour told us that it was pure karma, that Dr. Baker himself developed cancer, and shortly after buying a yacht he didn't get to enjoy for very long. He passed away. Since my college professors used to always tell me that Wikipedia could not always be trusted, I think I would like to go with the karma theory. Now, you should not wish cancer on anyone, but if anybody deserved cancer, it was Dr. in air quotes Norman Baker. One might think, with Norman Baker's passing, that his ability to make national headlines would have ended that September of 1958. That's until this happened.
I really didn't have any idea what was going on until I picked up the first bottle that had a clear fluid in it with something in it.
They discovered 500 bottles altogether that point to the stories of Norman Baker using the hotel back in the late 1930s to treat cancer patients. Hotel Ghost Tours manager Keith Scale says he recognized the bottles from a display.
We have this displayed in hotel where we do the tours, so I see this every day. Some of the bottles are medicines, and some of the bottles are medical specimens.
Wow, with all that, it's not hard to see why this is the most haunted hotel in America. Our tram guide told us there was self-guided walking tours that they would let you go on. As soon as we got back to our car, we drove right back to the hotel, and this is what we saw. Okay, I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. Around the time of recording this, I was playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption, and it was unreal, man. It just felt like I stepped into the video game. It was crazy. But real life did have one drawback to the video game life. I couldn't rob the place and then just restart if I died. There's definitely more brochures in here than the video game. Back to Ghost. You know, I'm no paranormal expert. So any of these people in here could be ghosts. I don't know. They had knickknacks, postcards, books, a little bit of everything in the gift shop section. Being a crime scene that an evil con man used to lure his victims isn't the only thing tragic that happened at the Crescent Hotel. They didn't have any merch for fat people. Now, I know I'm not the only dude that wears a 4X. I don't even think they had 3X.
Probably the things that caught my eye the most in the hotel lobby were these two musical instruments. I was excited because I wanted to tell you guys about these instruments, but then I realized I didn't want my video to be like an hour long. So instead, I'm going to leave a link in the description if you want to learn more about them. But you know, just a snippet of some neatness. One of these musical instruments is only one of three, the other two living in two different museums in different countries. And then another little interesting thing is that one of them shouldn't even be here. If it wasn't for a shipping delay, it would have went down with the Titanic. Yeah, that's quite a handsome fellow there in the mirror. So get a load of this fireplace, dudes. Look at a little gargoyle right there. That's really cool. I like the little gargoyle. Man, that's a fireplace. That's pretty neato. I haven't had a chance to research like the story behind it or like, you know, what up with it. But I think it probably has a pretty fantastic story. I think you know, one of these days I might. Now this is pretty neat. Now you're definitely the America's Most Haunted Hotel when you have a ice cream vending machine that says ice cream, and it identifies you as the most haunted hotel. Well, and I had to pee, so I went to the bathroom and apparently Kenny Rogers peed there. See? It was alright. It was, you know, I give it a 10 out of 10. Would poop again. I didn't poop, but I pooped there. I definitely pooped there. You know. I imagine that's probably the one place that is not haunted. You know, no ghosts want to be in the bathroom. There's me and my favorite tie-dye again. Handsome fellow right there. And here's the ballroom, or dining room, or whatever. Look at that beautiful ceiling. It's pretty neato. Here's kind of a cool picture. There's a gift shop. I was afraid to go in there. There's a lot of breakable stuff. And we paid a lot to go on the trip, so we were like not wanting to spend more money. There's a neat little star case. I think that's pretty neato. And there's another little neat little star case. And yep, here's the elevator. Emma pushing buttons up and down. And yep, the elevators were, I don't know, I didn't get scared in the elevator. It seemed pretty safe, you know, even though it was, I don't know if it was an antique or not. It may have been newly built. Well, here's I think the 4th floor. I wish they had some lights on and I could see those better, but Yep, they had all kinds of neat pictures on the walls. More pictures on the walls and more pictures on the walls. It's kind of a neat thing. There's like a timeline. More pictures on the walls, and here's the upstairs of the staircase. Whoa, look, that'd be a long way to fall down. Good thing I wasn't pushed by a ghost or nothing. Spooky hallway. Ooh. And look at that fire escape. Just in case we get chased by ghosts, we know where to run to. More pictures on the wall.
The most magnificent feature of the top floor of the Crescent Hotel that we're aware of is the Sky Bar Gourmet Pizza Lounge. What's funny is all the menu items are presented like they're the wacky medical procedures that Dr. Baker would perform on his patients. Names like the Baker's Folly, Phantom Cure, Fraudulent Feta, and the Clinic Special are all, kind of nods to Norman Baker. I did say that the Sky Bar Gourmet Pizza Lounge was the most magnificent feature, but I guess maybe it's the view, not of the shingles there, but look, Courtney's getting quite a view. See that shot she got? That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I wasn't about to climb down those stairs. I was gonna fall. But look at that, it's beautiful. But yeah, it's pretty neat. That place over there, that was where the sanitarium was. I think I recall our tram guide saying it now is the Newlywed Suite, which would make sense, especially if they still have the padded walls. Even though dining with a view this amazing would have been awesome, Courtney has alpha gal and can't eat anything that has milk in it, and like a lot of other stuff that's really good. She couldn't eat at the Sky Bar Pizza Lounge, and it just wouldn't have been cool for me and Emma to just sit there and eat pizza in front of Courtney. But she did get pizza. We went to Red's Pizza, who has vegan options. It was good, but that'll have to be another video. So the question you folks have: did we have any paranormal experiences at the Crescent Hotel? At the time of recording this, I would have said no, but after editing, we captured this. I mean, it could have been the FedEx guy, but then I looked around, and I didn't even see the FedEx guy. I mean, maybe the FedEx guy was a ghost. People that know me know that my kids call me Jerry, and this is because my daughter had a lopped ear pet bunny that she talked for, and he thought my name was Gerald, but he couldn't pronounce Gerald, so he started calling me Jerry. That's why I'm pretty sure this was Nushka Butt sending me a greeting from the afterlife. And there's already a connection with bunnies in Eureka Springs that we'll talk about in another episode that might just put all the puzzle pieces together. Our trip to Eureka Springs was completely unplanned, so we didn't really know what we were getting into. Courtney had heard of the Crescent Hotel. I had heard very little, and we didn't know about the ghost tour and all the other stuff that you could do. But next time we intend to come with a plan. One thing I wish we would have done is got some pictures of the actual rooms. If you're disappointed about that too, I did put a link in the description to Jacob Crookshank's YouTube channel, where him and his brother visit the Crescent Hotel. They actually stayed in the Norman Baker suite, a recreation of the living space that Norman Baker lived in. So it's pretty neat. Check it out. Dude. Hey, dude. Are you still awake, dude? Just kidding. I mean, I hope you're awake, but if not, hey, man, you need your rest. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining us for the special Halloween special. Midwest Trippin. We appreciate you and we love you. You have a great evening, and I hope you had a fun and happy Halloween.